watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma and with me as always is Cheryl D'Souza. And viewers, this is your show where you get all your stock queries answers by our experts. But before coming to that, let's have a look at what the markets are up to. So Cheryl, feels like the Friday fever is already on for the Bank Nifty bulls specifically, right?
Yes, absolutely. Bank Nifty, PSU Bank, all of them are actually having a gala time. They've been partying through this month already before we could reach to the end of the month. But if you look at what the benchmarks are doing, muted trade coming in for the benchmark indices. In fact, we've drifted lower from those opening levels and now we are actually near the day's lowest point. You have Sensex Nifty that are trading with cuts of about 0.3%. Nifty Bank, on the other hand, outperforming the benchmark indices, trading with a positive bias as we speak, but that also has drifted lower from the day's high. Let's take a look at some of the banks that are moving in trade today, and you have IndusInd Bank that is actually the top performer on the Nifty. Apart from that, Sun Pharma, remember that one had a huge thrashing in trade yesterday after they said that the US FDA has imposed or listed their Halol facility under import alert. But today you can see the stock recovering because you had Sun Pharma that came out with some sort of clarification late in the evening. ITC also is seeing gains of about 0.9%, but on the flip side, it is HCL Tech that is actually seeing a sharp cut, 6% downtick coming in for HCL Tech. The stock is down for 6 consecutive sessions. Remember, the HCL Tech, the management had indicated that their FY23 revenue guidance will be at the lower end. So on back of that, you have the stock that is seeing a pressure. And following that, you have Infosys, Tech Mahindra, Wipro, TCS, all of them losing. Top 5 Nifty losers are from the IT pack. Let's take a look at what are the other sectoral indices doing in trade today. And if you look at the sectoral indices, it is PSU Bank Index that's the top sectoral gainer once again, 0.7% uptick coming in for that one. Pharma and FMCG also seeing good uptick. But on the losing side, it is the Nifty IT Index, 2.3% downtick, followed by realty and energy. So that's the way how the markets are looking like at this morning. And like you said, the banking players are definitely having a good day in trade today. But Shrishti, it's Friday, and not only is just the end of the week, but we have a special BNS in Pathshala for our viewers today.
Well, yes, absolutely. We ensure that this Friday is a learning Friday for all our viewers. And for that, we got BNS in Pathshala. Joining us live in the studios is Kunal Bothra. Kunal, over to you.
Thank you, Shrishti and Cheryl, for that. Good morning to all of you. So today on the topic of Pathshala, I've been discussing on the Bollinger Bands, which is a very important indicator. It's used, something which is very widely across many traders. Now, just 2 important points for Bollinger Bands. It was developed by none other than John Bollinger, almost many decades back. And what's the indication for Bollinger Bands? It's an indicator or a measure of the volatility and the price trends, for stock prices. The reason why I've spotted Bollinger Bands currently is because many of the stocks are getting into a range of consolidation. So one of the strategies for Bollinger Bands is a Bollinger Band squeeze. Now, as you can see that these are 3 lines which are marked on the price charts for Bollinger Bands. This is the upper band, which we call it as the 2 sigma deviation for Bollinger Bands. This is the median or the mean for Bollinger Band, and this is the lower band. So which means that this is basically a simple moving average, and 2 sigma or 2 standard deviations higher and 2 standard deviations lower is where the band tends to fluctuate around the prices. Now what we are looking out for is this zone of consolidation where the prices get stuck into a broad range. The Bollinger Bands, as you can see, the Bollinger Bands over here are quite far enough, quite wide enough, and over here the Bollinger Bands are contracting significantly, and the range for the prices, gets stuck into a range. Now this is IndusInd Bank, almost 5-6 years back, just as an example. Now what happens here on is in the next slide. Post this consolidation of the squeeze, whenever the Bollinger Bands starts to expand is where the prices starts to get into a directional mode. So you have to wait out for this period of consolidation, wait for the point of breakout. Post this breakout is where the stock starts to trend up. Now I'll share one more example over here, which is a very recent example for Reliance Industries. Very similar chart. The Bollinger Bands, when the prices were trending up higher, were expanding. The moment the stock got into a consolidation, starts to get trading into a range, 5 to 10% kind of a trading range, you see the Bollinger Bands contracting significantly. The moment the prices starts to break out is where the Bollinger Bands again starts to expand, and then the prices start to get into a trending mode. So all you have to try and judge is that whenever the bands contract, that's a sign of consolidation. Wait out for the point of breakout, and that's the time where you start expecting a trend to begin.
All Right, so that is something new that we've all learned about Bollinger Band. And in Bollinger Band, what we've learned today, Kunal, is Bollinger Band squeeze, isn't it? That's what you actually mentioned, isn't it? Yes. Right, but on that note, actually, let's slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. We have lots more on the other side, and that is actually your queries. So don't go anywhere, stay tuned.
Powered by Asim.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you asked, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you asked, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now, the show where we get you answers for all your stock-related queries. But before we get going with your queries, let me bring on board our experts for today. We have Kunal Botha who's joining us on the technicals, and on the fundamentals, we have Mr. G. Chokalingam joining us. A very good morning to you once again, Kunal, as well as Mr. Chokalingam. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And Mr. Chokalingam, before we go ahead, and I kickstart with the query segment, you've seen the markets doing absolutely nothing in the month of December. No doubt in the early phase of December, we saw the market see a tad bit of rally, but now that has fizzled off. We are in a consolidation phase. But in this phase, what should retail investors do to keep their wealth protected?
Yes, you can delay your, aggressive buying because normally whenever market has recovered before December first week, we see the tendency for some correction after second week of December, because a lot of institutional investors go on holidays, and that's our single most important factor. But there is no need to worry as long as you have invested in a very high quality stock, because let me tell you that the oil price has crashed almost close to 40% from 52-week high. According to me, this is the single biggest solution for multiple problems of Indian economy, whether you talk about foreign reserves or exchange rate or trade deficit, and therefore FI inflow. So this is the biggest advantage India is having. I keep always saying that global pain is India's gain. Whenever global pain is there, oil crashes, and it helps the Indian economy and market. So nothing to worry. To protect, it doesn't matter whether you are December or January, but always don't give room for anxiety-based investment decision, and don't chase perception-driven stocks. Always stick to 5 parameters: management quality, the long history of listing experience preferably, and least leverage, no working capital crisis, and valuation comfort. And let me tell you, this is a beautiful market to create wealth. Once again, you will create a lot of wealth in the next 2-3 years. So therefore, probably after third week onwards, you can use, if the weakness continues, to buy good quality stocks, because there can be an opportunity to buy them 3 to 5% lower by end of this month and stay invested for next 1 year minimum.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Chokalingam, for helping us and guiding all our viewers how to protect their wealth and what to do in this market time frame. But let's move on and let's kickstart your stock queries. And first query coming your way, Kunal, that is P. Subramaniam has shared his query that he has bought 200 shares of L&T at a price of 18.95. This stock hitting an all-time high levels in the 4th consecutive day of a strong move coming in for this particular counter. What are the levels to watch out for, and should he hold or sell at these levels?
See, I think the last 4 days it's been like a dream run for L&T, because typically it's a low beta stock. To move up 5%, the stock on an average takes at least a month and a half, even in a trending scenario. But this time in the last 4 days itself, the stock has climbed up from 2000 to 180 plus levels, where it's currently trading. So it's almost like a 4-5% plus jump in the span of the last 4 days. Now, that would probably indicate that the stock may get into some sort of a consolidation over here. So if you're okay holding on to the stock from a long-term play, then it's a different ballgame altogether. But if you've bought with a time frame of short to medium term, you're making almost 10% approximately on your investments, then I think it's a good time that you should look to book out profits.
All right, the first query that I have is from Soumitra, and he wants a view on Muthoot Finance, Mr. Chokalingam. What he's saying that despite the laggard performance of Muthoot Finance, Soumitra is still making a profit of about 40% on his holding in this particular counter. So now he wants to know, should he continue to hold on to Muthoot Finance, or he was actually thinking of moving some money to chemical sector, and if you think that's a good strategy of moving out, booking profits from Muthoot Finance and going to chemical sector. So he was thinking that whether he could consider Lakshmi Organics in that space.
Yeah, very interesting question. I think he can book profit in Muthoot Finance because there's a stiff competition from banking sector coming to the NBFCs. We have recently seen how they have eaten into the gold loan business. All these large private banks, including SBI, public sector bank, and their loan book also growing in a strong double digit, anywhere from 16 to 24%. So therefore, I would suggest that one should be significantly underweight on NBFCs, particularly the one which are focused on gold loan business. Now, coming back, where to put money? Definitely, the pain is not yet over for most chemical stocks in terms of the input prices going up or the output realization going down. Still, there is not comfort in most of these chemical stocks. So rather, I would suggest him to consider the private banks, because the entire industry credit is growing at 17%, which is very close to 10-year record high, and that is likely to continue. So he can consider, the banks like HDFC Bank or Kotak Bank instead of putting money in chemical stocks in the short term.
Okay, the next query coming in from Padma Sevrao, and Mr. Chokalingam, he's holding 200 shares of Hind Copper. Pardon please, he's holding 75 shares of Hind Copper at a price of 200 rupees, and on a YTD basis, we have seen all these metal counters correcting quite a bit. But in the longer time frame, for 2 to 3 years, what will be your advice? Should he continue to hold on?
Yes, definitely the investor should hold on to Hindustan Copper. It might take time, but let me tell you that copper is a huge shortage in the country, and Hindustan Copper is going for massive expansions. And the metal space always cyclical worldwide. Once in 3 years they get crashed and then they recover. And there is a lot of opportunity for copper industry to improve worldwide. So therefore he should hold it for 2 to 3 years till he gets his cost back. He can definitely hold on to Hindustan Copper.
This one is coming from Samir. He's writing to us from West Bengal, and he wants to know about Bajaj Finance, Kunal. He wants to invest in Bajaj Finance for the next 3 to 5 months, but he wants to know, should he accumulate the stocks starting now?
Well, surprisingly, Bajaj Finance has underperformed, and I think over the last 2 or 3 days, the stock has meaningfully broken below its 200 moving average as well. So there are some cracks which are emerging on the charts, at least over the very near term. Now, in that aspect, it's a good stock where you can look to have a strategy where you can buy on dips. But the only concern is that how steep could be the downtrend for Bajaj Finance, because the breakout on the downside has just been very recent for the stock, and there are no patterns over here which are indicating that the stock is getting into any kind of an oversold territory. So I think in that aspect, I would suggest that you should have a buy and dip strategy. Even if you're a long-term investor, you can probably start at current levels of 6,500, and maybe gradually at every 200 points dip, you can look to accumulate for Bajaj Finance, maybe closer to the 6,000 levels.
Okay, 6,000 will be a good level to accumulate Bajaj Finance. But moving on, the next query, Mr. Chokalingam, Chandra is holding 200 shares of Ujjivan Small Finance Bank from a price of 28 rupees 50 paise. And in the past 6 months, the stock has almost doubled. But going forward, in the next 1 year, what should be the targets that he should be looking out for?
As it goes up another 5-10%, he can take out, because these small finance banks are extraordinarily volatile in terms of stock performance as well as in terms of fundamental performance. So I would say that, if it goes up another 5-10%, he should book profit, and he should protect by putting it in the large financial sector stocks.
All right, moving on, the next query that I have is coming from Kaustav G, and he wants a fundamental view on Havells. He's saying last quarter results were not good, but do you see any upgrade in the performance in coming quarters, Mr. Chokalingam?
I mean, it should benefit because the input prices have come down. So he can hold on. Of course, the valuation comfort is not there, but that is a fact for the last 5 years. It never had valuation comfort, but it rewarded also. So, you can hold on till, it moves at least around 1300.
Okay, Kunal, Preeti has sent his query from Bangalore, and Preeti is holding Yes Bank 20,000 shares from a price of 16 rupees. Everyone is talking about the banking space, but Yes Bank, I know a lot of viewers must be wanting to know your take on this thing, because today itself the stock is up 15%. What's happening, and going forward, what should be the outlook?
So I think it's been a fantastic run for Yes Bank last 1 month, last 6 months. I think from the June lows, when the stock was almost at 13.5 or 13 levels, for Yes Bank. So I think from that time frame as well, the stock has done reasonably well. The only concern which I have with the charts for Yes Bank is this high, single candle up move for the stock. Now, in the last 1 year approximately, the stock has had 3 such, big days where you'd seen the stock rising up more than 10%, 12% on a single day, volume shooting up. But then the stock had not seen any major follow through. It had seen a marginal rise post that for 1 or 2 days. But then after that, the stock had gone into a correction, big corrections for itself. Now that indicates that even if this time around the stock gets into a stagnation phase, the stock may correct and come back to say levels of 17.5 or 18 plus mark as well. So it's always better to try and book out profits on such kind of price action days, and you can always look to come back again or look to buy back the stock in case of any correction.
So this is for those who are already booking, who are making profits, right, Kunal? But yes. I have a viewer, Rajesh Maheshwari, and he has Yes Bank for 4,500 shares, but an average price of 25.5 rupees per share, which means that he is anyways making losses on this holding. So what should he do now? Should he continue to hold on to this one till he actually comes into profit, or should he look to book losses and go into some other banking sector names?
See, so I would suggest that you can tweak your strategy a bit. I would suggest that maybe if the stock comes closer to 21.5 levels, which could be another 5% to 7% higher from current levels, that could be a point where you can look to exit and then look to buy back again on the downside. So all you have to look out for is the momentum fading out. So if there is any intraday correction which comes by into Yes Bank, that's a sign that the stock seems to have gotten to an exhaustion phase. So wait out for that point. Maybe around 21 to 21.5 levels is where you may see the points emerging for Yes Bank.
Okay, so those are levels to track for Yes Bank. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a short break. But hang on there, we'll be right back and taking more of your queries just after this break.
मुथूट फाइनेंस पेश करते हैं गोल्ड लोन मेला। गोल्ड लोन लेने पर पाए सुनहरा मौका कपल्स के लिए फॉरेन ट्रिप जीतने का, और साथ ही जीते कई आकर्षक इनाम। यही नहीं, हर ट्रांजैक्शन पर होगा 24 कैरेट गोल्ड आपके नाम। अपने फ्रेंड्स और फैमिली को रेफर करने पर भी मिलेगा खरा सोना। गोल्ड लोन लेने के लिए आज ही मुथूट फाइनेंस की ब्रांच में आए या फिर घर बैठे बैठे गोल्ड लोन पाए। आज ही कॉल करें 1800-313-1212।
Market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
Now, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one.
Welcome back to Buy Now, Sell Now, and let's keep it going with all your stock-related queries. And Mr. Chokalingam, the next query coming in from Velavan from Oman, and he's holding restaurants brand Asia for 2 years, 200 quantity at an average price of 158. He wants to know whether he should book losses at these levels or continue to hold on.
If there is any recovery, even 10-15%, he can exit this stock.
All right, the next query that I have is coming from Santi Cherela, and this one is for you, Mr. Chokalingam, because what he's talking about is the CS Credit Suisse report of valuation correction of 20% in HCL Tech, 8% on TCS, 15% for Wipro, as well as for Infosys. But the rating is outperform on Wipro, on Infosys. He's saying that he's holding about 45 shares of Infosys at a price of around 1,421 rupees per share. He wants to know what should his strategy be in this view, given the fact that you have the Credit Suisse report, and now you have what HCL Tech also spoke about or indicated this at their investor day meet. So wants to know whether he should sell and look to buy Infosys at a lower level, or do pyramid buying on every correction on outperformance view.
Yeah. See, very interestingly, I would suggest that there is no need to panic on these top 4 IT stocks measures. One can continue to hold. Maybe adding, one can go less aggressive now. Let me tell you that ultimately the rupee depreciation is going to help these IT services companies. And second, the profile of our IT companies business is completely different from the profile of Nasdaq listed companies, and those companies earn from outside US, so appreciation of dollar hits them, whereas ultimately the appreciation of dollar against rupee should help our Indian companies. And third, let us not forget the fact that some of these stocks have already corrected as much as even 40% from the 52-week high, I think a lot of pain is already priced in. And for long-term investor, it could be an opportunity also. One can slowly, in fact, accumulate till end of this month. As I said, it might continue to weaken till end of this month because these are all largely driven by foreign investors. And when they go on holidays, so there may be little more pain in this stock, but that could be an opportunity for medium to long-term investors.
Okay, so that was the take on a basket of IT stocks, because even I'm getting a lot of IT related queries, and I hope that such a detailed answer will help all our viewers collectively. But moving on and switching sectors, and not switching sectors, actually Kunal Vinay wants to know from you a take on a lot of counters from diversified sector. He wants to know, is this a right time to buy Airtel, Tata Motors or Yes Bank for the next 6 to 9 months? What's your take on that?
Well, Airtel and Tata Motors, I think, is a good bet from a longer term play. But then I think Tata Motors has gone through a correction, so that's a good starting point. Airtel, I would suggest that you can probably look to start at current levels, but you have to try and take advantage of dips instead of Yes Bank, because it's a very high beta stock. I understand that the stock has risen up sharply today, and there would be a lot of expectations going forward. But then it always makes sense to go with a stabler name in the private sector name. So I would still go with maybe the likes of Axis Bank. If you're looking at the old cliche name, then I think ICICI Bank could also be one of the interesting names. Or else if you're looking at slight high beta name from the private sector banks, that would be IndusInd Bank.
All right, let's just mark the flashes on the bottom of your screen talking about Yes Bank, where Yes Bank has informed the exchanges that they are now in receipt of 2 further letters from the RBI in relation to proposed investment by Carlyle and Advent. And they are saying that they will now engage with the investors for completion of proposed capital raise. So a crucial piece of information, but as you can see, the stock was anyways at an elevated level. This morning there was a 0.6% equity block deal also that took place in Yes Bank. So all of that culminating with the stock price surging about 13.8% as we speak. Let me move on then, and let me take the next query then. And the next query is coming in from Mukhil, and he's writing to us from Bangalore. He's saying that yesterday, Kunal, he bought Amara Raja battery December futures at 670. Today it's a downtrend. What's your view? Can he continue to hold or book losses?
I think 670 was the high of the day. The stock had hit at 315, 320. So I think you probably would have gotten to a BTST trade. But I believe, I think a better level to buy Amaraja battery, which I've been advocating over the last couple of days, would be closer to 655, 660 range. That's a range where the stock tends to get a lot of support ads. So if you're looking to hold on from, say, a couple of days perspective, then I would suggest maybe averaging out closer to that 660 mark, and then look out for a target of at least 680 on Amaraja battery to 700 range.
Okay, but moving on, the next query coming in from Y. Koteshwara Rao. And Kunal, one stock that he has is Happiest Minds, 100 shares at a price of 1330. And what I'm spotting is one of the last week's buy now, sell now, Pathshala advice that was lower lows forming on the technical charts. So what's the suggestion on this? And another counter that he's holding is LIC Housing Finance, 1000 shares at a price of 409. What's your advice on both of these counters?
So Happiest Minds, it still forms a lower highs and lower low patterns. I would still not be too much enthused into buying the stock at current levels. It's always better to wait out for the phase of breakout into these names. So you may miss out on maybe 4-5 percentage points, but then you may also save almost 4 to 5 months and not tend to give into the stock in much prior, because then the patience game is something which is very, very tricky into these kind of stocks, because it could be marred with a lot of negative news flows around as well. So I think I would still stand by with the view for Happiest Minds that it's better to try and avoid the stock at current levels and wait out for a point of a big breakout, maybe around the 1020, 1050 mark for the stock. And for LIC Housing, I think it's a good time that you should look to book out profits. In case if you've bought the stock, I think it's nearing to some sort of a major retracement resistance on the charts around this 400 to 410 range. So I would suggest to book out profits.
All right, a lot of short-term queries. So Kunal, you'll have to brace yourself. This one is coming in from Akash Mathur, and he has KPIT at 605, IDFC First Bank at 51 rupees. Wants to know whether you should hold, exit, or add some more, and if add, then at what levels?
I think you should look to hold on to both of these names. I would not suggest an add at current levels, because these stocks seem to be at an slight overbought territories for themselves on a daily basis. So maybe if the stocks correct by 5% to 7% on an average, say for example 54, 55 for IDFC First Bank, and maybe around 700ish or I think 680-ish for KPIT Tech. That could be a point where you can look to average further.
Okay, Kunal, I got one of the option queries, and actually Suryansh is holding Glenmark Pharma 440 call option at a price of 14 rupees 30 paisa, and it's 2 rupees profit for him right now. Is this a good time to book profits, or he should wait further?
So I think you should look to book out profits over here. Now I understand that the stock is on the verge of a breakout for itself, but the volumes are typically very low for Glenmark Pharma. Now what could happen is, the stock inherently is a low beta name. Now in case if there is no major news flow or event surrounding the stock, if it's just a minor breakout, then it may tend to consolidate over here for a couple of days. And even if the stock consolidates at current levels of say 443, 444 currently, then you may probably lose out on the time decay for your option, and your option may come back to your cost price. So it's better to book out profits over here and look to buy back again in case if the option dips back towards say 12.5 levels.
Okay, chalo, Kunal, let me give you a breather till I come back to you for some more queries. I can see you take that, heaving a sigh of relief. But the next one is for you, Mr. Chokalingam. Manjunath has written to us on Canara Bank holding about 500 shares at an average price of 478 rupees per share since March 2020. He wants to know whether he can add some more at current price, or should he just stay put with whatever he has and continue holding it for the next 3 years. And also he wants to know, how does Canara Bank look to you?
Yeah, it is one of the finest quality banks within the PSU banking space, but I won't suggest adding more to average because it already rallied from the bottom. You can continue to hold. There can be a further trigger because, as I mentioned, credit growth is the record high level. And second, there is a possibility of unlocking money from Campion Homes. So there are some triggers for him to minimize his loss and recover his cost. So he can hold it for another 1-2 years till he gets somewhere around the 350, 360 level.
Okay, so that's the advice coming in. But the next query coming in from Nandish and Mr. Chokalingam. Nandish is holding Suven Life Sciences 1600, over 1600 quantity at a price of 74. And on a YTD basis, the stock is actually down 22%. Should he continue to hold on or sell at these levels?
I think he should sell. The whole pharma sector is going through a tough time in terms of falling realization. So he should sell this stock at this price.
Okay, Kunal, I'm back now, asking the next question to you. Manish Raju has written to us. He has around 1,300 shares of BLS at 118 rupees per share. He is asking, do you recommend holding the counter or book partial profit and look to buy a cement stock instead for a period of 6 months? And if you advise him to go ahead and buy a cement stock, then which one?
See, BLS International on the charts have not broken below its 50 DMA. So you've bought at 118 levels, if I'm not wrong. Stock is at 187. Ideally, just keep a trailing stop loss of 50-day moving average or maybe 3% below the 50 DMA. Till the time the stock doesn't break or close below this level of 3% below the 50 DMA, you can continue to hold on to your investments over here. And in case if you're looking to switch, and in case if the stock hits that trailing stop loss, then it's better that you, if you're looking to go with a cement stock, I would still go with or recommend Shree Cement as a better pick at current levels. Even Ultratech, if in case the stock corrects towards 7,000 mark, these are two ideal candidates of a bigger breakout and a bigger trend from here on. So these are the two names which I'd recommend from the cement pack.
Okay, we're moving on. Mr. Chokalingam, the next query coming in from Sunil, and he wants to deploy rupees 10 lakhs in total for the next 5 to 7 years. What should be the allocation looking like? Any stocks or sectors you could recommend to him? And also, one sector that he has in mind is the pharma sector, that too an MNC play. Will that be a good bet for him?
I would suggest, avoid pharma for at least another 1 or 2 months. Till at least December results come, because the pressure on realization from both the domestic and the export market is very severe. Now, coming back to invest, I would suggest that, keeping in mind that his risk profile is at average level, he should keep 50% in the large index stocks and the large mid caps, and the remaining 50% in small and mid cap for wealth creation. So, having said that, I would say that he can consider in the index stocks like HDFC Bank, HDFC Life, Bharti Airtel, Titan, and Reliance Industries. In fact, I believe that the Reliance Industry in the next 4 to 5 years can double from current level. So this is on the large index stocks. And coming to large mid caps, you can consider stocks like the Bosch Limited. That is one good quality stocks. And for wealth creation, and also Indigo, because oil price has crashed nearly 40%. So that is another good large mid-cap stocks, so apart from Bosch. For wealth creation, I would suggest that you can consider stocks like Huawei Medical, Sundaram Finance, and then Oracle Financial Software, then MRF. So these are some of the stocks he can consider along with Bombay Burma. So he can, if he has average risk profile, he can put 50% of money in the small cap. Otherwise, I would suggest that put 60-70% of your money in the index stocks and the large mid caps.
Right. So let me just add on to that then, Mr. Chokalingam. Purnima also had some funds with her, about 2 lakhs, and she was looking to invest in some mid and small cap names. Will these names also hold for her also?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, one can definitely consider these stocks. I mean, among all, Huawei Medical is the most, attractive stock because it trades at the enterprise value of just 1 crore per bed. So all the listed companies, and also there are a lot of talk on acquisition in the unlisted space. They are all valued at anywhere from 3 crore to 5 crore, whereas this is trading at just 1 crore per bed.
All right. Now, next one for you from TP Vinod, and he wants to know about Ease My Trip. He's looking to enter this one, but what's the good range to start entering the counter?
I think you should not enter the stock at current levels. You should wait for a significant, a correction in the stock price. I think over the last 2 weeks, specifically when the stock was at 68 to 70 mark, I've been advocating that these are very overbought, very euphoric kind of zones for the stock price. And even though the stock was performing exceptionally well prior to that, it is always better to stay away from these names. Now from 70 levels, the stock has corrected to 51, 52. I would still believe that there could be another 5 to 10 points of correction for the stock price. So if you're looking to buy and looking out for high risk trade, then maybe 45 odd levels could be a good zone where you can look to buy.
All right, with that, let's actually slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. And viewers, stay tuned, because when we come back, we'll continue taking your queries, and experts also hang in there.
One of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
But if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
Welcome back to Buy Now, Sell Now. And the next query coming from Subrata Ghosh and Mr. Chokalingam. He is actually holding Global Health 455 at a price of 455 and 2,000 shares, and he's looking to add more. After the IPO, we have seen a decent kind of a run-up in this particular counter. Will adding more be a good strategy?
It can wait. It is slightly stretched in terms of valuation, and also the price point is also almost close to 52-week high. I would suggest that at least wait for a 10% correction before you add it.
Right. The next query that I have is coming in from Jay Krishnan, and Jay Krishnan Kunal is asking about Fine Organics, a good stock to buy, and at what levels can he look to enter for the medium term? One, he's asking that it makes sense to enter also the chemical space.
Well, I would suggest to wait out because the stock has just gone through the first quarter of a correction for the last 3 months. I think from the September highs, Fine Organics has corrected from 7,200 to now 6,000 plus, 6,000 or slightly below levels for itself. It can correct, or it can correct by another 10%, which could probably take the stock back towards its 200 moving average. So I would suggest that it's always better to try and be a bit more patient. You can start at current levels, but then don't go all out into buying the stock just because it's corrected by almost 10-12% from the recent swing highs. Wait out for a phase. Maybe the stock can correct by another 5-7% first. Start nibbling in and then look to add on dips closer to that 5,400 levels.
Okay, the next query coming in from one of the viewers. I can't get the name, but let me admit that. Mr. Chokalingam, this viewer is holding India Glycols 100 shares at a price of 680. That's 70 rupees profit per share for him. What will be the advice? Continue to hold on or book some partial profits?
In fact, we have recommended, and we personally also hold. Short term, there are concerns because they commissioned 2 distilleries which are grain-based, particularly the rice-based. But in UP, the prices of these grains have shot up like anything, and also there is a pressure on other chemical products they make. So there may be concern in the short term, but if he can hold, he should definitely hold on to it because they built a beautiful liquor business, on standalone liquor business itself, the current market cap is much less than what it deserves. So I am extremely bullish on India Glycol from a medium to long term perspective. Although in the short term there can be a little pain in this counter.
All right, the next one is coming in from Satya, and he wants to know, Kunal, is it right time to enter ABFRL and Balkrishna Industries? I believe you answered this Balkrishna Industries yesterday. I believe it was among your top picks, isn't it?
Well, yes, I would be bullish on Balkrishna Industries even at current levels. I think that the stock is trying to play a good catch-up from most of the other tired names, which are trading for themselves either at 52-week highs or life highs. So Balkrishna Industries can play a good catch-up. The worst seems to be behind, at least in terms of the fundamental news flow last couple of months back. ABFRL, I would still be a bit concerned because after a very steady uptrend for ABFRL, and if you remember, I think for most part of 2022, at least in the first half, ABFRL trend, they had a fantastic uptrend for themselves. They are now going to a phase of correction. This correction may last or elongate itself for another couple of months for the stock price. So you can start buying at current levels, maybe 30%, 25% of your expected quantity, but then add-on dips could be a strategy for ABFRL.
Okay, so that's the view coming in for ABFRL. But viewers, it's time to kickstart our rapid fire session. So let's get going. And Kunal, first query coming in from Anil. He's holding Reliance December future lots, 2 lots he's holding at a price of 2,730 rupees. What will be the advice? Hold or sell?
I think you can continue to hold on.
All right, Kunal, one more for you. Indumati is asking about a technical view on L&T Finance, holding at 87 rupees per share. Positional trade, can accumulate more or book out?
You can look to hold on as of now, but keep a trailing stop loss of 90.
Okay, Kunal, Sandeep is holding HDFC Limited and PT Light. Both of these counters are at profit, but the view for the next 1 month, what's your take on that?
Would be bullish on both of these names, so if possible, you can continue to hold on.
Okay, Sudeep has written to you, but particularly Mr. Chokalingam. Based on your advice, he's actually bought Bank of Maharashtra, 500 shares, 23 rupees per share. Wants to know, can he add some more at current levels, or should he look to also buy Bank of India?
We closed successfully our buy call on Bank of Maharashtra. Of course, if he's willing to wait for 2-3 years, it might give, but I would suggest that on any further rise, he can book profit. On other PSU bank also, I would ask him to wait because they've rallied substantially. It's better to wait for some 5-10% correction before, re-entering any PSU bank.
Okay, Mr. Chokalingam, Regan is holding IDFC First Bank 300 shares at a price of 7 rupees per share profit. Continue to hold on?
I would suggest sell.
Okay, Jeevan wants to know, Kunal, Ashok Leyland for 3-month horizon, holding 1200 shares, buy price 150 rupees per share.
I would suggest book out profits if it gets closer to your cost price.
Okay, Mr. Chokalingam, Nisha is holding 3,000 shares of NMDC at a price of 124. What will be the advice?
If any further rise, sell it. Pain is still not yet over for iron ore and steel industry.
Okay, Kunal Palaniappan from Trichy is written to us, 200 shares of Asahi Songwon Colors, bought at 360 rupees per share. Do you track this one? What should you do?
I think it's at 260 rupees, significantly down from a cost price. I would suggest to wait out for a minor rally and then look to exit.
Okay, with this, it's a wrap to the rapid fire session, and would like to thank Kunal and Mr. Chokalingam for joining us today and helping all our viewers with their stock queries.
Right, and those were your queries that were answered by our experts. But let's take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. And top 8 teams in the FIFA World Cup will battle for ultimate glory as the quarterfinals get underway today. 5-time world champion World Cup winners Brazil will take on Croatia in the first quarterfinals. Brazil are high on confidence with a solid 4-1 victory against South Korea, whereas Croatia entered the quarters by winning 3-1 in penalties against Japan. Meanwhile, Argentina and Messi will look to end the 36-year World Cup drought as Messi plays his last World Cup. Argentina will lock horns with Netherlands, who have never managed to lift the trophy. The Dutch would keep in mind the 1978 World Cup final, in which Argentina lifted the trophy with a 3-1 win.
Morocco and Portugal will battle it out for a spot in the semis. Morocco are looking to become the first African side to make it to the semis of the World Cup. Portugal eyed their 3rd semi-final. Reports say that Ronaldo might not start the match for Portugal. Defending champions France will face England, who have not won the World Cup since 1966. France will be the first reigning champions to participate in the quarter-final of the World Cup since Brazil in 2006, as England look to end the 56-year drought. A group of artists, athletes and entertainers will join the Japanese billionaire Yusaku Maezawa on the private SpaceX flight around the moon